The night outside the research outpost was quiet, except for the hum of the perimeter drones gliding above the frozen plain. Inside the control room, Captain Ryan Hale sat with his arms folded, eyes fixed on the glowing holographic screen. The data feed kept looping through the same strange readings, a human life signature, but twisted, pulsing with unknown energy. He had seen that kind of signal once before. Back when his squad was wiped out, the door slid open behind him, and a gust of cold air followed her in. The woman who stepped through looked too calm for what was happening outside. Her silver hair glimmered under the pale light, and her eyes, bright, deep, unblinking, met his. She didn't flinch. She didn't ask permission. She just stood there. "You shouldn't be here," Ryan said quietly. "I didn't have anywhere else to go," she replied, her voice soft but steady. "You're the only one who won't shoot me on sight." He studied her face. Her skin had a faint blue tint near the temples, something not quite human. He'd seen faces like that once on the battlefield, after the explosions, when human troops first met the Ascari, a race that could mimic human features almost perfectly. "What are you?" he asked. Her gaze didn't waver. "Something you once saved." Ryan frowned. He didn't remember her. He had saved many, lost more. She stepped closer, her movements slow, deliberate, the kind soldiers use when trying not to startle a nervous ally. The faint hum of the reactor filled the silence between them. "You're not authorized to be in this base," he said, voice low. "If command finds you, they already know," she interrupted. "They're the ones who sent the kill order." It got his attention. Ryan's chair screeched as he stood. "Explain." Instead of answering, she took another step forward. Her breathing was calm, her expression unreadable. Then she did something that froze him. She reached up, locked eyes with him, and began to unbutton her uniform shirt. Ryan raised a hand, confused but alert. "What are you doing?" "Showing you the reason they want me dead." Under the dim white light, she opened the shirt enough to reveal the skin beneath her collarbone. It wasn't a human chest. Beneath the pale surface was a pattern of faint, its glowing lines like silver veins forming a geometric circuit. At the center was a small device, embedded deep into her flesh, pulsing with blue light. Ryan stared. "Is that a Ascari tech?" She nodded slowly. "A tracker, a transmitter, and a bomb. It activates when they lose signal." He took a cautious step closer, scanning the mark. The hum grew louder as the light from the implant brightened. "You're telling me they put that inside you?" "They didn't ask," she said, voice trembling now for the first time. "They built me for infiltration, to look human, to act human. But something went wrong. I started feeling what I wasn't meant to." Her words sank into the silence. Ryan could hear his pulse echoing in his ears. The last time he'd heard that tone, raw and human, it came from a dying soldier. "You're saying you feel?" he asked. "Yes, and that's why they call me defective." He circled the table, keeping his voice steady. "What do you need from me?" She met his eyes again. "I need someone to shut it off before it kills me, before it wipes the coordinates of every human outpost in this sector." Ryan's instincts screamed to call command, but the look on her face stopped him, that strange mix of pride and fear. He'd seen it before, on the faces of his own men before they charged into hopeless fights. He exhaled slowly. "Sit down." She obeyed. Her posture was stiff, military too precise to be random. She had been trained or programmed to obey. He reached for the scanner from the medkit. As he passed it over the device in her chest, the display flickered wildly. "Whatever this thing is," he murmured, "it's not standard Ascari tech. It's hybridized human engineering fused with alien biomatter." Her lips pressed together. "I was part of the Accord project. They tried to create peace by merging both species' technology. When it failed, they erased everyone involved. Except you," Ryan said, "because they thought I was dead." He looked up. "So why come to me?" "Because you don't follow orders blindly." He didn't know whether to feel insulted or flattered. Outside, a distant explosion echoed one of the patrol drones. Maybe. The storm of static that followed hinted at a jamming field. Someone was coming. "How much time do we have?" he asked. "Minutes," she said. They'll jam communications, storm the base, and make it look like an accident. Ryan tossed the scanner aside. Then we move. Now. She hesitated. You don't even know if I'm telling the truth. He smirked faintly. Lady, I stopped believing anyone tells the truth years ago. But I can tell when someone's scared. And you're terrified. The base alarms flickered red as they stepped into the corridor. The air smelled like ozone and burned metal. Ryan keyed the control panel, locking down the main entrance. The woman followed close behind, eyes darting toward every flickering light. What's your name? He asked as they moved down the narrow hall. She hesitated. They called me Asera. Asera, he repeated. All right. Asera, if that bomb inside you goes off, what happens? It wipes out the base and everything within 5 kilometers. He cursed under his breath. So we disable it. You said it's hybrid tech. Maybe I can reroute it. You're not a bioengineer, she warned. No, but I'm good at breaking things. They entered the old maintenance bay half dark, full of dusty consoles and spare armor plating. Ryan set her down on the table and pulled a set of insulated tools from a locker. She sat still, eyes locked on him, while he traced the faint blue circuits under her skin with a diagnostic wand. Pain? He asked. She shook her head. Not yet. Good. That means we still have a chance. The console beeped as it connected to the implant. Ryan frowned. It's keyed to a neural signal, yours. If your heart rate spikes, the failsafe triggers. Sarah's lips thinned. Then don't make me nervous. Outside, boots echoed through the corridors. Ryan's stomach tightened. They're already inside. He worked faster. His hands moved with practiced precision, soldering wires, overriding signals. I need you to breathe evenly, he muttered. Slow, steady, like you're back in training. Her breathing slowed. Her voice softened. You're calm under pressure. Occupational habit, he said. Now, when I say go, hold still. He cut a final connection. The implant flickered, then went dark, but only for a second. The light pulsed back, stronger this time, spreading through the circuit lines. Her eyes widened. You triggered the defense mode, Ryan swore. The console overloaded, sparks flying. He grabbed her hand, pulling her off the table. We run. They dashed through the side corridor as explosions rocked the floor. The bay behind them went up in fire. Ryan covered Asera with his body as the shockwave threw them to the ground. For a moment, everything went silent except for the ringing in his ears. Then, faintly, he heard her voice. You saved me again. He opened his eyes. The world was a blur of smoke and firelight. The implant in her chest still glowed, but weaker now, like a dying heartbeat. He coughed. Yeah, well, don't make a habit of it. She smiled faintly, pain flickering across her face. They'll send more. They always do. He pulled her up by the arm. Then we better make sure they don't find what they're looking for, which is... He looked toward the horizon, where the frozen plain stretched into darkness. Whatever's left of humanity worth saving. Outside, the storm had begun, wind and dust swallowing the stars. The two figures stumbled into the night, leaving the burning outpost behind them. Somewhere deep in her chest, the alien light flickered, a reminder of what she was and what she had chosen to become. And for the first time in years, Ryan didn't feel alone in the fight. The cold air bit through Ryan's jacket as he and Asera stumbled across the icy plain. Behind them, the research outpost burned like a fallen star, lighting the dark sky in orange and gray. Every few seconds, the blast of a collapsing reactor echoed across the valley. The ground trembled under their boots. They didn't stop until the light became a distant glow. Asera dropped to her knees, her breath coming in sharp, shallow bursts. The implant under her collarbone flickered weakly, its blue light pulsing like a fading heartbeat. Ryan crouched beside her. You good? She nodded, though her hands were trembling. The failsafe. It's damaged. It could reactivate any time. He looked at the smoke curling in the distance. Then we can't stay here. Command will trace the explosion. We need shelter. There's an old mining station to the west, she said faintly. I read its coordinates once. It's off-grid, hidden in the ravine. He helped her to her feet. Then that's where we're going. They moved through the wind, step by step, into the night. The storm thickened, the world fading to silver mist. For a long time, neither spoke. Only the crunch of snow and the low hum of Asera's implant broke the silence. After what felt like hours, the storm eased, revealing the black line of the ravine ahead. A rusted lift shaft descended into darkness. Ryan scanned the entry with his wrist device. Power's dead. We'll have to climb. Can manage, Asera said quietly, gripping the old cable with both hands. Her strength surprised him. Even wounded, she moved with smooth precision, like someone built for survival. Halfway down, she paused. Ryan? Yeah. Why did you help me back there? He thought about that for a long moment. The wind howled through the shaft. Because you reminded me what we used to fight for. When they reached the bottom, the air was heavy and still. The mining tunnels stretched before them, silent and cold. Old signs hung from the walls, written in faded letters. Asera powered a small light strip from her wristband, and the tunnel glowed faintly blue. They followed the passage until they found a chamber filled with broken machinery. Ryan cleared a spot near a wall and started a small heat unit. The faint warmth spread slowly. Asera sat near the light, staring at the flickering glow in her chest. I can feel it inside me, the device adjusting. It's trying to repair itself. Ryan leaned against the wall. Can you stop it? Not alone. It's coded to my neural signature. I'd need access to an external core, something strong enough to override the encryption. He rubbed his jaw. Closest core would be at the central command hub. That's 20 clicks north. She looked up sharply. That's suicide. It's deep in military control. I know, Ryan said. But if that thing goes off, you die, and the data it holds could take half the sector with it. Command won't risk that. They'll kill us before we reach the gate. Sarah's voice softened. You're willing to die for someone you just met? Ryan stared into the dim firelight. You're not the first stranger I've risked it for, but maybe the first who actually mattered. She didn't reply, but her eyes stayed on him. Eyes that seemed older than any human's, yet full of something fragile. Trust, maybe, or guilt. Hours passed. The sound of wind above faded, replaced by the occasional drip of melting frost. Ryan couldn't sleep. He kept checking his pulse sensor, half expecting to see enemy drones on approach. At last, Asera spoke again. You said you'd seen that kind of implant before? He nodded. Years ago, during the Accord War, the Askari tested early versions on prisoners. We were told to destroy any survivors before extraction. She turned her face toward him. Did you? No, he said quietly. I couldn't. Her expression softened. Then maybe that's why you're still alive. A sudden metallic echo cut through the stillness. Ryan froze. Movement. He killed the light, motioned for silence. Both crouched behind the broken machinery as faint footsteps echoed through the tunnel. A beam of light swept across the wall. Then another. Voices human, distorted by helmets. Command wants her alive, one voice said. If the human interferes, drop him. Sarah's pulse quickened. Ryan whispered, How many? 3, she mouthed. He slid the sidearm from his belt. You take left? She nodded. He counted down silently, 3, 2, 1, and then moved. The tunnel erupted with flashes of light. The first soldier dropped before he could turn. Asera moved like a shadow, disarming the second before he fired. The third tried to run, but she struck him with a precise hit that sent him to the floor. Ryan kicked the weapon away, scanning their uniforms. Special Ops. No insignia. Sierra knelt by the fallen soldier. They're not here for me, she murmured. They're here for the data inside me, which means Ryan began. They'll keep coming, she finished. Until the core shuts down, or I'm gone. She closed her eyes briefly, and for a moment, the blue light under her skin dimmed. I can feel their signal. They're tracking my pulse. Then we cut the signal, Ryan said. Impossible without extraction. It's not impossible, he replied. Just difficult. He scavenged one of the soldiers' packs, pulling out a field jammer. This could give us a few hours, enough to reach command. Asera looked doubtful. And if we fail? Ryan gave a tired smile. Then we'll make sure they never forget we tried. They moved out again before dawn. The ravine opened into an endless stretch of ice fields, glinting under the rising light of 2 distant moons. Their footprints trailed behind them like fading ghosts. By midday, the wind rose again. Static hissed in their earpieces, the sign that the jammer was weakening. Asera walked ahead, scanning the terrain. Suddenly, her steps faltered. Ryan hurried up beside her. "What is it?" She pointed toward a cluster of shapes near the horizon. Black towers half buried in the ice. "That's it," she said. "Old defense relay. The command core might still be active." They approached cautiously. The towers loomed like broken fingers reaching toward the sky. The ground around them was littered with debris, shattered drones, twisted armor, signs of an ancient battle. Ryan tested a console near the base. To his surprise, it powered on with a faint hum. "Still running on backup fusion," he said. "We can use this." Sarah stepped close, her hands trembling slightly as she connected her interface port. The moment she touched the system, the lights flickered and a low tone filled the air. Ryan frowned. "That's a security handshake. I'm overriding it," she said through clenched teeth. "But it's fighting back." The light from her implant brightened, spreading across her neck and down her arm. Ryan could hear her heartbeat speeding up. "Asera, stop almost there," she gasped. "It's trying to rewrite me." He grabbed her wrist, pulling her free. The console sparked violently, then went dark. Asera fell to her knees, breathing hard. "I saw something." "What did you see?" "A message. Buried in the core coordinates. And a name." Ryan crouched beside her. "Whose name?" "Project Origin." The words sent a chill through him. "That's impossible." "Origin was shut down before the war." "Wasn't," she whispered. "They moved it. And that's what's inside me, its location." Ryan's mind raced. If she was telling the truth, the implant wasn't just a bomb. It was a vault, one containing the most dangerous secret in human history. "Then we can't go to command," he said. "They'll kill you to bury it." Her eyes met his, frightened now. "Then where do we go?" He looked toward the horizon, where the clouds glowed faintly from distant lightning. "There's a place called Black Ridge. Used to be a rebel site. If we can reach it, we can broadcast the data ourselves." Sarah hesitated. "And if the implant detonates before then?" He gave her a half smile. "Then I'll make sure it takes their signal tower with it." For the first time, she laughed softly, short, broken, but real. "You really are insane." "Comes with the uniform," he said, shouldering his pack. As night fell, they found shelter under a shattered drone wing. The wind screamed outside. Ryan adjusted the field jammer, keeping its faint hum steady. Asera sat beside him, eyes closed, hands clasped near her chest. "You should rest," he said. "I can't," she murmured. "When I sleep, it talks to me." He looked at her. "The implant?" She nodded. "It tries to rewrite my memories, replace them with command protocols. Every time I fight it, I lose a little more." Ryan leaned back, staring at the frozen ceiling. "Then I'll keep you awake. By reminding you you're not a machine." She opened her eyes. The blue light flickered faintly in them. "And how do you plan to do that?" He shrugged. "You bleed. You think. You choose. Machines don't do that." Her voice softened. "You really believe there's still something human in me?" He met her gaze steadily. "I don't think it ever left." Outside, thunder rolled across the plain. The faint blue light from her chest illuminated both their faces, merging human warmth and alien glow into one. The world beyond them was cold and cruel, but inside that broken shelter, there was something neither side had managed to destroy yet. Hope. The dawn came pale and cold. Thin light spilled across the white plain, turning the frozen surface into mirrors of silver and ice. Ryan woke first. The field jammer beside him flickered weakly, its charge almost gone. Asara was still awake, sitting with her knees pulled close. staring at the horizon where the storm had cleared. "We don't have much time," she said quietly. Ryan nodded. "Black Ridge is 20 kilometers west. If we keep moving, we can reach it before night." She looked down at her chest. The implant glowed faintly again, steadier than before. "It's adapting. Learning from every time I resist, and we make sure it doesn't get another chance," Ryan said, packing his gear. "We reach Black Ridge, send the data, and end this." They set off through the plain. The sky was clear, and the air sharp enough to sting the lungs. Each step crunched against the snow, the only sound in a world of silence. For hours, they walked without stopping, following the faint trail of broken drone markers half buried in the ice. By midday, the first structures appeared, jagged antenna masts poking through the frozen ground like the ribs of some dead machine. The remains of Black Ridge lay ahead, half collapsed, covered in snow and ash. Once it had been a rebel communication center built in secret to broadcast truth beyond command control. Now it looked like the skeleton of an old dream. Ryan stopped on a ridge overlooking the ruins. "Looks abandoned." Sar's voice was faint. "No, there's power below. I can feel the energy field." He gave her a questioning look. "My implant resonates with the frequency," she explained. "The core's still alive." "Good," he said. "Then we use it before they find us." They descended carefully through the cracked tunnels leading under the snow. The metal walls were lined with old circuits and rusted conduits. A faint blue glow pulsed deeper inside, not from the implant this time, but from the base's buried reactor. When they reached the main chamber, Ryan saw the old array still standing. Wires hung loose, but the core at the center still pulsed faintly with power. Dust floated in the air like mist. "This is it," Asera whispered. "If we connect my neural link, the system will recognize the Ascari coding. It will open the data." Ryan nodded. "Then we send it to every outpost before command can intercept." He wiped frost from a console and powered it up. The lights flickered, dim but steady. The hum of old systems filled the air, slow, tired, but alive. Asera stepped closer to the main core. "Once I start, I can't stop it. The implant will resist. It might try to erase me to protect the secret." He looked at her, jaw tight. "I won't let that happen." Her eyes met his, calm, but sad. "You can't stop it if it's inside my mind." He took a slow breath. "Then I'll pull you out if I have to." For a moment, neither spoke. The silence between them felt heavy, full of things neither dared to say. Then she reached out and placed her hand on the console. The lines on her skin began to glow, and light streamed from her chest to the machine. The whole chamber brightened as the data flowed, alien code mixed with human signals. Racing through the old system, Ryan watched the readings climb. "It's working." Sarah's face tightened. "It's rewriting the encryption. I can see it. Memories, images, names." "What do you see?" "Children," she whispered. "Human and Asair. Together." The Accord wasn't about peace talks. It was about creating a generation that could end the war. Ryan froze. "You mean hybrids?" "Yes," she breathed. "I was the first. Not a weapon, a test." But when they saw emotions developing, they panicked. They erased the project. The console beeped violently. A red light flashed. "Signal detected," Ryan said. "They found us." Outside, a low rumble shook the ground, engines descending fast. Dropship's Asera grimaced, body trembling as the implant's glow intensified. "They're trying to take control of me again." Ryan drew his weapon and checked his ammunition. "You hold that connection. I'll handle them." "Ryan, just do it," he shouted, running toward the entrance. He reached the surface as the first dropship landed. Soldiers in black armor poured out, weapons raised. Ryan took cover behind a collapsed beam and opened fire. The ice cracked under every blast, and steam rose from the ground where plasma hit. He moved fast, never staying still, firing until the rifle overheated. The radio crackled in his ear. Ryan Hale, a cold voice, said, "Stand down. The subject is not yours to protect." "Yeah," he muttered, reloading. Tell command they can come and take her themselves. Explosions shook the ridge. Asera's scream echoed faintly below. He glanced back. The light from the cum chamber was flaring, blue and white. He ran back down into the tunnels. The air shimmered with energy. The core glowed so brightly it hurt to look at. Asera was on her knees, the light from her chest flooding through the cables. "Asera," he shouted, trying to reach her. The heat was unbearable, the energy rippling through the air like fire. She looked up, her eyes glowing bright silver now. "It's rewriting me, Ryan. I can't stop it." "Fight it," he yelled, grabbing her shoulders. "You told me you can feel. You told me you'd choose." Her voice trembled. "If I let go, the data will vanish forever. But if I stay linked, it will destroy me." He didn't hesitate. "Then we find another way." "There isn't," she said softly. "This is my purpose." "No," he said fiercely. "You're more than what they made you." For a moment, the light dimmed. Her eyes flickered human again. "Then promise me something. Anything, when it's done. Make sure they know we existed." He stared at her, unable to speak. Then she smiled faintly, small, fragile, but full of peace. "Now step back." The light exploded outward. Ryan fell to the floor as energy surged through the entire base. The sound was like thunder trapped in metal walls. The reactor howled as data streamed into the sky through the cum array. The ancient satellite dish above groaned, then turned toward the heavens one last time. He shielded his eyes. The light faded slowly until the only thing left glowing was the implant. Now silent, no longer pulsing. Asera lay motionless on the ground. Ryan crawled to her side, his hands trembling. "Asera." Her eyes opened weakly. "It's finished. The data is free." He swallowed hard. "You did it," she smiled faintly. "Then humanity will know the truth." He held her hand as the glow faded from her skin. The circuits under her flesh dimmed, leaving only pale scars. Her breathing slowed. "You're not dying," he whispered. "You hear me?" "You're not, Ryan," she said, voice barely audible. "Don T. Let them erase this." Her hand went still. For a long moment, there was only silence. The quiet hum of the core shutting down. Then, through the static of his radio, a new sound came. Voices, confused, urgent. Across the channels of command, messages were spreading, Project Origin exposed. Hybrid data confirmed. Cease operations. He looked at Asera's face, peaceful now, untouched by fear. Then he stood, walked to the console, and switched off the system. The hum died completely. Outside, the storm had cleared. The sky stretched wide and cold, full of faint stars. In the distance, the dropships were retreating. They had seen the signal. The truth had spread too far to contain. Ryan buried her at the edge of the ridge, beneath a piece of the old antenna. He carved her name, Asera, into the frozen steel with his knife. Then he stood there for a long time, watching the wind cover the letters with snow. When he finally turned away, the faint blue light from the implant, now separate, silent, and safe, pulsed once in his hand. He placed it in his jacket pocket and began walking toward the horizon. The war wasn't over, but something inside him had changed. Humanity had built walls of fear and lies. She had broken them with her last breath, and as he disappeared into the distance, the sun rose again over the frozen plain, washing away the darkness she had fought against. The light touched the ridge where she rested, and for a moment it looked as if the snow itself shimmered, blue and bright, like a heartbeat that refused to die.